Hi, this is Ikenke from Blue Steel Auto School. Today, we're going to discuss how to know when your steering is straight. Right? It's very simple. You just have to understand where the starting position of your wheel is and what it looks like when it's centered and how many turns are in the wheel. Right? So let's examine this now. Alright, so this is the steering wheel here. Alright. So for this car, this part of the wheel is down when the wheel is in the center position. Alright. Now what you need to understand is that most cars have roughly three turns in the wheel. Alright, 3 turns. So if you're turning from one side to the other, it's gonna be 3 turns. However, if you're starting from the middle, you have 1.5 to one side and 1.5 to the other side. It's a total of 3 turns. So you have to know where you're starting, to know how far you have to go to get to the position you want. And different positions are for different things, right? So if I was gonna leave the curb now, of course, you've heard in my previous videos, I teach gear signal wheel, so I will put the car in drive. I'm not moving for this video, so I will just pretend the car is in drive. I will signal to the left, and then I would turn the wheel one time. Now I'm holding the phone with one hand, so I'm gonna turn the wheel with one hand, but on your test, you want to turn the wheel with 2 hands and hand over hand. But this is just to demonstrate the positioning of the wheel. Right? So I'm going to turn the wheel 1 turn. This is the definition of 1 turn. You see how the wheel went around 1 time. Right? So remember, you're just drawing a circle. Just think of, in kindergarten, or maybe like very basic beginners art class, and they first day of class, they say draw a circle on a piece of paper. In order to draw a circle, you have to close the circle. If you leave the circle open like this, that's not a circle, because now the wheel didn't get back to where it started. Or if you're talking about art class, your pen or your pencil didn't get back to where it started. In order to draw a circle, you have to end where you started. Right? If you start somewhere and then you end somewhere else, that's not a circle. Right? So because it started at the bottom, it has to finish at the bottom. Right? But now this is 1 turn to the left, right? Because like I said, I was simulating getting ready to leave the curb, and I'm on the right side of a 2-way street. So if I was going to leave the curb, I would turn to the left. But now the car is not straight. The wheels are not straight. And you can't see the outside wheels. You can only see this wheel. You can see the steering wheel. So you have to know the position of the steering wheel and know that the steering wheel controls the outside wheels. Right? So as you turn to the left, the front wheels turn left. As you turn to the right, the front wheels turn right. It's very simple. It's very basic. Don't make it more difficult than it has to be. Right? You turn to the left, the wheels turn left, the car moves left. You turn to the right, the wheels turn right, the car moves right. Right? And then of course there's different degrees, different amounts of right and left. Right? So if you turn a little bit and it's not enough for the car to do what you want it to do, then you got to turn it more. Right? And keep turning. Remember, the wheel has 3 turns in it. So if you just turn this much and the car doesn't do what you want it to do, then you keep turning, right? And if it's still not enough, you keep turning. Now this is upside down, obviously not the way the wheel is supposed to look. So just by looking at this, that the wheel is not centered, right? So I'm bringing it back in the opposite direction until it gets back down, right? And this is 1 turn, right? This is one turn of the wheel. Right? So you just have to look at, depending on your wheels, some wheels might not have a bottom spoke. They might only have side spokes. Right? So you have to know, okay, when the side spokes are at a certain angle, when they look in a certain position, that's when the wheel is in the start position, right? So that was one turn to the left I did, right? If I was on a one-way street and I was sitting on the left side of the road and I wanted to pull away to the right, then I would have to turn the wheel to the right. Typically, we teach one turn to the right. How do you know if it's one turn? Well, the wheel starts like this, and then you turn it one turn, right? The bottom spoke of the wheel, if you think of a clock, right? If you think of a clock, you'll see that this is pointing at 6. The bottom spoke is pointing at 6, right? This is your clock hand, right? So if you think of this as 6, the sides are 9 and 3, the top is 12, it should make a little bit more sense. Everybody knows what a clock is. At least we should. I mean, we've been taught how to tell time since preschool, right? So you should know what 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock means. Just keep it simple, right? It's not rocket science. Right? So I just did one turn to the right. If you go somewhere at 3:30 and they tell you come back at 4:30, that means the minute hand has to go from the 6 all the way around the clock back to the 6. Very simple, right? So now I want to get the wheel back to the center. I just did one turn to the right. Now I want to get back to the center. So if I did one turn to the right, that means I got to do one turn back to the left. So I just bring it back around, and voila, it's centered, right? So one way, and to me the best way of knowing if your wheel is centered, is to know where your wheel started from and count. And like I said before, 1.5 to each side. So now I know I'm in the middle. So if I want to turn all the way this way now, so this is almost 1.5 turns, right? So for this car, it doesn't fully get the 3 turns. It gets close to 3 turns, right? So this is the end of the range of the wheel, right? So now to get back to the center, this is only half a turn. So now I got to do one more. That's 1.5, right? Now, if I want to go to the other side, same idea. If I turn the wheel, that's 1 turn and a half, and it's about to lock. And you don't want to lock the wheel. I've explained that in other videos. Locking the wheel is not good, right? Locking the wheel can mess up your power steering system, even other issues, other aspects of your car, right? So you don't want to get into the habit of fully locking the wheel. You have to know when the wheel is about to lock and make sure it doesn't lock, right? All right, and then if I want to get back to the middle, that's 1.5, and then another 1.5, and I'm at the end again, and that's 3 turns, right? Or roughly 3 turns. Half and 1, I'm back in the middle. Now, another way to know quickly, and since I'm going to move briefly, I will go ahead and put my seatbelt on, right? Another way to tell if you're straight is to let the car move, right? So if I put the car into drive, and if I just release a tiny bit of brake, not a lot, tiny bit, you see the car is moving straight, right? So you see now the car is moving straight. That means the wheel is centered. If I turn the wheel one time to the right, and then I just move a little bit up, the car is going right. If I turn the wheel one time, or one time back is in the center, so now one time to the left is 1 turn left, now the car is going left, right? So immediately okay, the car is going left, so it can't be centered. So in order for the car to be centered, for the wheel to be centered, the car has to be going straight, right? And the same idea when you're in reverse, but now the back is leading, right? The back is leading, but then the front will go in the opposite direction. So if I turn to the right, the back will go right, but the front will move to the left, right? If I go back to the center, the car will come straight back. And then if I turn once to the left, the back will go left, but the front will come to the right. Right? And so now I know if I put the wheel back in its normal position, the car is going to come straight backwards, or if I put it in drive, straight forwards. Alright? And that's a wrap. Hopefully that helps you understand how to keep your wheel straight. And signing off from Blue Steel Auto School. Alright, please subscribe, request notifications.